Hi everyone, welcome to today's live session. So guys, let's quickly go through some of the headlines we have today, and I'll be sharing with you guys a video of what a lawyer has come out to say about, the latest trial of nnamdi Kanu. But before we get into that, let's take a look at what is happening. We all know that the Nigerian military is acting, like you can see the headline is saying military asking remaining Boko Haram terrorists to surrender, or they should surrender. And also the Nigerian Air Force has also come out. This is a today's headline, and is saying that the Nigerian Air Force is asking bandits and other criminals to surrender, that they should surrender. So it's like they are now begging. You can imagine, instead of them to go hard on these people, they are now asking them to come surrender. Who is ready to surrender? These people, they are using this surrender as a tactic. Somebody was saying that this Boko Haram, they are very intelligent. They purposely release their people in the name of surrender, after which they will still come back again to them. So this is a strategy they are using, and I don't think the Nigerian army understands that it is not working. Now, take a look at this. Bandits in Zamfara did something unbelievable. A woman gave birth in their den, of twins. She had twins. Guess what they did? They use it to breakfast their dogs. Can you imagine that? We are living in a country where these people are causing great, I don't know the kind of damage, how to describe the level of damage that these guys are causing and inflicting on Nigeria as a people or as a country. But the forces, the military, they are taking them, they are just like begging them, come and surrender. This is today's headline, that these people decided to feed their dogs using the woman gave birth to twins, and today she has none of them because they were given to dogs. I don't even want to like be using those words because there are words that I don't personally know how to use. This is happening in Zamfara. So you can imagine the kind of country we are living in. This is the visible distress lawmaker said this is also coming from, recently an APC chieftain or member was kidnapped, and the people who went to pay ransom, when they got there, the kidnappers equally held them, took them into captivity. That's to tell you how things are happening in this country. And our politicians keep pursuing, they are just pursuing 2027 as if 2027 is next month. Tinubu has not completed 2 years, so 2 years is yet to come. And the way they are pursuing 2027 and leaving real and serious matters on the table is something Nigerians cannot understand. Now, like what I've just said about the woman, this headline says the visibly distressed lawmaker said a pregnant woman was abducted. She gave birth to a set of twins in captivity. Then the leader of the bandit took the twins and threw them to you can see the dogs breakfast on them, one after the other. Nigerians, this is today's headline. This didn't happen in the 1960s. It didn't happen in 1900. This is today's headline, just for you to know the kind of country we are living with. We are dealing with a set of, human beings that have even moved from the realm of being humans to another realm, because the way these people are behaving, they are no more humans. This thing has to do with ideology, and it's like their thinking has shifted. Now see with the way people are. Somebody is in your captivity and then gave birth, and you know what it means for a woman to pass that travel period to the point of giving birth, and not just giving birth to one, giving birth to two in their den, and in her presence they threw the two to their dogs. So I don't even know, there are some language I can't pronounce, the words I can't really pronounce, boldly, because God knows I don't understand this kind of things happening in Nigeria. And you see the military, the Air Force is begging them, please come and surrender. You saw the video, I played it here last time, when the military was telling them to cooperate because some of their colleagues have surrendered. Like the Borno state governor said they have 300,000 Boko Haram that they have received, 300,000. So possibly these ones have been granted pardon and be reintroduced into the society. And there are men on ground waiting for their organs to give command, that kind of a thing. So these are some of the things happening in this country that one does not even know how to manage. And you look at the way things are going, you cannot believe it. Now, I'm going to play a video for you guys where a lawyer is talking about Nnamdi Kanu. You know that he's going through his own trial period where the federal government is trying to move his case from treasonable felony to terrorism. And look at the real terrors. Look at them. They are being begged to come surrender. They are being begged, but somebody is going through all this at the hands of the federal government because I don't know if it's because he's an Igbo. I don't know if it's because of in short, I don't know why that is happening, but I don't know. But you can see that honestly, what is happening in Nigeria is unbelievable. We cannot build a country this way. The way we are going, we can't build a country like that. So let me take you through some of the reactions and some of the headlines of today. This is just what I've told you guys about. This is a video from Vanguard. It's still the same headline that I shared with you. This was posted on Vanguard Twitter handle 10 hours ago, and it's talking about what I just told you, the children, the little babies that were that came to this world, for the first time in the captivity of the enemies. And at the end of the day, they threw them to their dogs. Possibly they've not seen food. I don't know what would have provoked them to that point to have given those children to the dogs for feeding. Honestly, I don't know if these people are humans. I can't really see. And this is also the headline I've just shown you. But let's take a look at other things happening in Nigeria. I just talked to you guys about kidnappers. Sees 2 persons bringing ransom to abducted APC chairman, demand fresh 30 million. So since they are not ready to fight insecurity now, and they are the ones in power, they are the ones that have the money. You see what the bandits are doing? They purposely abducted an APC man, kept him, demanded for ransom. And when these people went to drop ransom, they were also picked and kept by the corner, demanding for extra money. You see, this is it. They are all over the places in the forest, in the south, because when they come into Nigeria, assuming they are not Nigerian, when they come into Nigeria from the north, they start trickling down to the south, where they come to build their kidnapper den. We've heard, like the Afenifere leader was released, said they have a lot of, their den in Ondo State alone. He was counting 20 to 30 something kidnapper den just for a one set of kidnappers. They have their camps in different places where they keep their victims. Just for you to know that this country, we've got a lot to do. I'm just wondering how we'll be able to fight these people to the end, honestly. The Nigerian army has identified terrorists' latest hideout at Zambiza Forest. One might just be wondering, why is this forest still existing? I mean, Zambiza, why is it still existing? Since they know that this is a place where Boko Haram has taken to be his White House. Boko Haram leaders, it's like their White House. You know where they are. Why not? Why have we not cleared Zambiza, like Peter Obi said during the election, that if he becomes president, places like Zambiza will just be leveled and be used for farming? Why have we not gone there to clear these places and use it for farming instead of allowing them to, to be using it as whatever that they are using? Now, this is coming from I think this is from Jos, from Jos, and it says over 100 cows dead in Jos as gunmen attacked, opened fire on herdsmen, and butchered their cow. This must have come after so much endurance, from the Jos people. They've had enough. They've really had enough. So this time around, they took it upon them and decided to use it, criminality, pushing others into criminality. That's what we are seeing here. Possibly these people are helpless because the security agents cannot help them anymore, and they resorted to, self-defense and doing it by themselves. So possibly these elders were just passing and, not prepared or not in any terror mood, only for them to experience this. So this is what you see in a country where there's no rule of law. There's no rule of law. The Nigerian government is begging, these Boko Haram fighters to come surrender. I'm just like wondering, how are we? Somebody told me that, see, with this method that the federal government is using, that it will be difficult to end this banditry and terrorism in Nigeria. Since you have decided to be giving them pardon, they will now see it as a pattern. Let's commit. Let's do whatever we are doing. We will come back and ask for forgiveness, and it will be granted to us. Like you see Bello Tuji. Bello Tuji, we were told by the CDS, the chief of defense staff, that he operates underground. It's difficult to catch him, but he is, if you know what he's doing around that Sokoto Zamfara axis, you will not believe your ears. And one day now he will come out and say, I'm surrendering. And then all the people he has fight, he will be forgiving of all of them. Can you imagine? Tell me where such strategy works. Tell me where such strategy works. So the DSS has sued Professor Pat Utomi over his alleged plan to establish what he called a shadow government in the country. Anyway, he was on an interview session. I don't think, most times they don't like people like anybody under Peter Obi or anybody close to Peter Obi. When you speak, they will say, DSS, go and arrest them. That's just what is happening. Pat Utomi is a professor. He's a man who respects rule of law. He's not somebody who is associated with all this anyhow behavior, Possibly from the interview he granted, they've gone to look for words to dig and dig and dig and dug to this point, because I don't think anything like this was in that interview, but I don't know where this is coming from. But we are living in a country where, like, if people like Peter Obi come out now and tell the government this thing you are doing is wrong, they will say, DSS should get him. So possibly that's what is happening here. I don't know. And this is coming from Sahara Reporters. Boko Haram terrorists ambushed military patrol in Adamawa by 7 persons, cut away soldiers' bicycles. Can you see it? This is another fresh headline. It's a breaking news that these people, after all they did, in Borno State, see now in Adamawa, they are all over the places. Adamawa, see, Yobe and Borno is like, let me say, their headquarters. But see, when we are still talking about the attacks that happened in Borno State, they have moved to Adamawa. So I think this government has to think about, like people are suggesting, bring in machineries if you want to end terrorism, because it's not going to end anytime soon. Bring in machineries. Now, before I finally share the video I have with you guys, this is Peter Obi meeting with Mr. Dele Momadu. So, a lot is going on as regards to 2027. Many people really want to work with Peter Obi because of his support base that is still strong. I know that every other person that is not happy with the Tinubu's government, the way they've plunged Nigeria into hunger, the insecurity. Look at how glitch happened in JAM. And like I shared with you guys, a girl bite herself because she didn't get the kind of score she expected. And I listened to an analyst that was saying that for somebody to just buy himself because of JAM, that means the mental state or mental health of Nigerians is really in a poor state. So just imagine it, when you don't even know how they were able to raise money to register for JAM in today's Nigeria. I watched a woman today who went to school to go pay the student, her daughter's school fees. Do you know what she went with? She went with some chicken or cocoa, those ones that you breed around your house that move around. She had to just go and gather all the ones she had because she can't afford school fees. So she just had to gather all her chickens, around her, and took them to the school for her daughter's school fees. So that's to tell you the way things are going in Nigeria today. Nigerian Air Force asks bandits, other criminals to surrender. That is same headline that we are talking about. So I'm just going to show you the video about Peter Obi, where not Peter Obi, nnamdi Kanu, where is being talked about the federal government trying to squeeze him. Now they are wanting to link him to Gulag. You must have heard that Gulag. You must have heard before now. Gulag, the northerner who died in Imo State. In Imo State some years back during the time of Buhari. So now they are now saying that, nnamdi Kanu made a broadcast, and that broadcast was what instigated or his followers or known gunmen to go by Gulag. But you know that during the time of Buhari, Imo State was like a no-go area because Hope Uzodinma and these unknown gunmen were having their time. It was very intense, that period. So this Gulag death happened. So, but I don't know how, just trying to look for something they can use to nail him, to crucify him. They are just looking for anything they can present now. And if his lawyers are not able to defend it, they'll say, okay, yeah, it's because of this. That is just what is happening now. So they are linking that Gulag's death to nnamdi Kanu, which the lawyers are yet to do a cross-examination because they've presented like a certificate of his death. Let me say they've presented the charge before the judge, and then the cross-examination is going to start the next sitting or his next appearance. But this lawyer is saying that the federal government does not have the right to even convict nnamdi Kanu here in Nigeria, because whatever broadcast they said he did it while he was in the UK, not in Nigeria. So I'm just going to play the video just for you to see, and then we'll be wrapping this section up.
Committed offenses, okay. Part of their defense was that those offenses were not committed in Nigeria. That you cannot even litigate, you cannot even convict him because he was not in Nigeria when those issues. So they went and amended the charge. Okay, then. Okay, and then the charge should have been amended on several occasions. So if you have to convict someone or try someone, it must be an offense that is committed within the territory of the said country. This wasn't. I'm not preempting the court. Of course, we can talk about the case in court. The only thing we cannot do is to preempt the outcome.
Yes.
Nobody can preempt the outcome. But as at the time those offenses were committed, he was not in Nigeria. Part of them will be admitted. Now you could have a fact issue. You could have evidence relevant to the fact issue. You can have some evidence that are not relevant to the fact issue, but they are relevant to the relevant facts. So all evidence in that category can be admitted in evidence. But it does not mean that the said evidence now have determined the case. Because I saw the posture in yesterday, so many persons, though not lawyers, okay, who may not, we could forgive them their trespasses because they are not lawyers. We're talking about how that the admission of that evidence alone has sealed the case. No, this is, is a serious allegation of murder we're talking about, okay? And for you to convict a person of murder, there must be a nexus between the defendant and the act itself. Okay, he made an order, according to you, that people should be dealt with. People that refuse to obey the statute order. Okay, you said that was what led to the death. But during cross-examination, because see, what we have now is the defense have not even opened their case.
Right.
What you have is just the prosecution. The prosecution opened the case and they are tendering evidence accordingly. Okay. So, and the matter was also stalled. That same, because the document that Canada BSN applied from the police have not been given.
All right, let's pause on that. We'll come back to talk more about this document. We'll go on a very quick break. And when we return, we'll still be exploring more conversations regarding the latest on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's trial. Stay with us.
The prosecution objected to the fact that trial should continue because they need to, the practice direction talked about day-to-day trial, so there should be no space. And the judge looking at the issue knew that they've gotten to a point. I mean, Justice Omotosho, James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, stated that they need to have that adjournment to enable all parties get all documents required for the proceedings to continue. I think it was necessary that adjournment, but if you look at the trial has been accelerated because, I mean, they've been
unlike before.
Yeah.
Under the previous judge.
Under the previous judge. But now, because there's an order for accelerated hearing, okay, they are making a lot of progress. Okay, very soon. I mean, the prosecution still have 5 witnesses to call. 5 witnesses. So those 5 witnesses, maybe it will take maybe another 4 or 5 adjournments. Okay, then before the defense will open their case. But the frequency of adjournment, I mean, the closeness in the dates we're having, we're going to dispense of this case before the year runs out.
Well, that's exciting. So what are the next steps we're expecting with the case? They've written to the police, the date has been adjourned, so when they come back to court,
they're going to take the other witnesses, I mean the prosecution.
Right.
Because the defense have not opened their cases, the prosecution have opened. So the prosecution will have to bring in everything they have against him. Okay. In the course of doing that, the defense counsel can object some of the evidence. Okay. And then
but does the defense counsel get to cross-examine?
Yes. They will cross-examine them. Each of the witnesses will be cross-examined. The reason for cross-examination is to test the credibility of the evidence, either oral or documentary.
Yeah, but these witnesses have been using anonymous names, so
yeah, there's a need to protect. Yeah. But even under our law, there's a law now before the National Assembly talking about witness protection. Even in civilized democracy, they mask them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they alter their voice. Okay, so you're not able to get their true voice to protect them. Sometimes they shield them from, because when you, in this kind of, it's a high-profile case. It has a lot to do with regional, treason, so many sentiments, and yes, and the penalty for the case is also way far. A capital offense, capital punishment comes with it. So there's a need to protect every person that should be protected, and there's a need for the court to come to justice. That's the most important thing. And the court is doing that as we speak. The trial is going on well. The witnesses are available. That's the prosecution witness as we hear. So they will continue to give the evidence and they will be cross-examined. Okay, whatever it is you bring to court, including the evidence of death and everything, will go under the fireworks of cross-examination. Because it is cross-examination that
vice versa. When the defense also brings the witnesses,
when the defense opens their case, they'll call witnesses. Those witnesses will be cross-examined by the prosecution. Okay, so it is after the examination in chief, cross-examination, and if there's any need for re-examination for clarity of ambiguity and every other thing, after the examination, then the defense will close their case, and once they close their case, the court will adjourn for adoption of final written address, and after final written address, the court will adjourn for judgment.
Typically, how long will judgment take? Is there
you can't really tell how long it will take, especially now. I don't know how many witnesses the defendants have. I don't know how many witnesses, but this prosecution still have 5 witnesses to deal with, people who witnessed whatever will support the case of the prosecution.
And it's one man, the judge, that will determine. You don't have a jury system.
No, you don't have a jury system. It will determine based on the evidence before the court. But the fact that you have 5 witnesses does not mean all the witnesses will be called. They may decide to dispense with some if they have covered the ground as possible.
All right, still going back to the detention situation, we've seen conflicting reports, of course, within nnamdi Kanu and his lawyers, who right from time have been letting us know that they hadn't been getting access to their client, and now the DSS giving us different reports. Do we have a current position as to his detention situation?
The last one have been cleared. It was a lawyer, Jimakor, that put out that on social media that they did not allow the lawyer to see nnamdi Kanu. But what actually happened, Kanu Agabiasen had explained what happened. That he actually went there before 2 o'clock. He's supposed to go from 2, but went before 2. So they didn't allow him up until 2. And he explained to the court, and then the court had warned that Aloy Maka and others who put out things on social media should verify things proper. Not like he was asked not to see nnamdi Kanu, but as at the time he came, we could not see him that time because they have their own administrative protocols.
Yeah.
But eventually saw nnamdi Kanu after 2 o'clock.
And the solitary confinement bit of it, do we have clarity in that as well?
Yeah, the solitary confinement, the allegation is that he's in solitary confinement, but the DSS are saying no, that is not there. I mean, they are not going to take you, who is a visitor, into the detention facility. They will just bring the so you can't even know whether it's in solitary confinement or it's only nnamdi Kanu himself that can say he's in solitary confinement.
But if they are saying that he was in solitary confinement, it will be because he's the one that told them.
Before now, earlier on, it was when he was doing the extraordinary rendition.
Yes.
He was actually put in solitary confinement because he said it then. Okay, when the trial was, when they were going to court then, when this even
under Justice Inyako.
Yes, even when the Supreme Court said then that the extraordinary rendition was irresponsible. That the federal government going to his house to when he was on bail and all that was also an act of irresponsibility. The Supreme Court actually condemned everything they did to him. And then the Supreme Court ordered for the case to start de novo. That's this one now,
yes.
to start afresh. And that is exactly what is going on. What is going on now is the order of the Supreme Court. And the order also said that there should be accelerated hearing. So you have the order of the Supreme Court that this is running on. Yes, this whole case is running on.
All right. Do we expect any sort of response or ongoing or maybe interventions from the international community, especially owing to the fact that he is not just a Nigerian citizen? You know, are we expecting maybe the international community will jump into the conversation?
Well, the position of the international community is not very clear because they have not made public statements to that effect that I have seen. But he has a dual citizenship. I mean, he's a British citizen and he's also a Nigerian citizen. But now, it is alleged that he committed offenses. Okay. Part of their defense was that those offenses were not committed in Nigeria. That you cannot even litigate, you cannot even convict him because he was not in Nigeria when those issues. So they went and amended the charge. Okay, then. Okay, and then the charges have been amended on several occasions. So if you have to convict someone or try someone, it must be an offense that is committed within the territory of the said country. This wasn't. I'm not preempting the court. Of course, we can talk about the case in court. The only thing we cannot do is to preempt the outcome.
Yes.
Nobody can preempt the outcome. But as at the time those offenses were committed, he was not in Nigeria. That is part of their defense. Okay. So we'll see how it goes, how the court will interpret that, and from where he was then, the dual citizenship will not play a role based on the fact of the case. What I mean is that it is Nigerian government that is prosecuting him, not the UK government. Okay, so they are going to prove beyond reasonable doubt, because that's the standard.
And this,
beyond reasonable doubt that what he did was treason, or treasonable felony, whatever it is. And that there's murder to it and all the charges, everything. And the prosecution must prove every of the charge one after the other. Anyone that fails, fails against the prosecution. Okay, so to have him convicted, all the charges will have to be proven
beyond reasonable
doubt. The one that fails will fail against the prosecution.
Before we wrap up, what implications does this have for Nigeria's criminal justice system? Because they say justice delayed is justice denied, and it had to get to the Supreme Court to enforce an accelerated hearing. There are thousands of cases out there that have been dragging for years, would they set a precedent or perhaps have an effect on the other cases so we stop dragging our feet? And would it change anything in the
Administration of Criminal Justice Act? Okay, the law we have now, every criminal prosecution, they're supposed to be based on accelerated hearing, because adjournment should not be far. Okay, but what you have that intercept that is the congestion of the courts. Okay, even the congestion also affects this particular case. Okay, the congestion of the courts and the fact that you have so many cases, few judges, few courtrooms. Okay, look at our population.
Are we looking at expanding the courtrooms and judges?
Yeah, expansion is critical. I mean, the federal government is recruiting judges. I think the names of new judges just came out. They need to do more, and they need to build bigger prisons, because before 2009 there were some offenses, there were some things that are offenses now that were not offenses then. Kidnapping, for example, we didn't have it even in our law books.
Wow.
Terrorism, we didn't have it. We are not that kind of people. Okay, before 2009, and some sundry offenses and all that. So, but from that time till now, you have layers, and the National Assembly have to make laws to address all those crimes. Now they are added to.
So it means the net has been widened.
But the prisons are still the same. How many prisons have been built between 2009 till now? I don't think you have any significant. And that is why it got to a point when Arebo Shola was the Minister for Interior. He called on the state governments to come and take those inmates that committed state offenses, to come and feed them, to contribute to feeding them, that the federal government cannot be feeding inmates that committed federal offenses and they are not in prison. And then because we don't have state prisons, because I mean this is managed by the exclusive list, it's in the exclusive list, detention and all that. Now he made that assertion to the fact that the state should contribute. That is like hitting on federalism now, because since you
it's a logical conversation.
It's logical. It's not because the federal government packed 66 items into the exclusive list and they have no competence on one. So at the end of the day,
let others
you
privatize it.
Yes, because in the US it's privatized. It's private business. Build the facilities, put everything, meet specification, then each image that you take, just like we have the JAM centers. The centers don't belong to JAM. They're individuals, investors. And as at that time, you pay 7 naira per candidate. So they could do that. Inmates, you pay a certain kind of money before you do that. So the only way for us to have good prison system is for us to
Yes, so guys, I decided to play this video so that you understand what is actually happening in Nigeria. Now nnamdi Kanu is facing all these charges, and they are bringing in witnesses to come testify. Like he said, that the federal government has 5 witnesses. Initially, there were just 2, but now they've added additional 3, and they come masked. He said in some places they might even alter their voices just for security reasons. Now, evidence are being sought just to nail him and crucify him. But if you look at this case critically, it's a case that has to be resolved politically. But the federal government has chosen this route, spending taxpayers' money, coming to court every time, all the bulala you are seeing that does not worth it. This is the main issue that Nigeria has today, this thing you are seeing on the screen. The bandits, the terrorists, the criminals, most of them are not even Nigerians. They come into Nigeria, they feel, at peace. They just take over the forest, begin to commit all kinds of things. Now, the Nigerian Air Force is begging them, come and surrender, please. Come and surrender. The Nigerian military is begging them, come and surrender, please come and surrender. They are begging these people that have ended up, if you've seen the video, that showcases the attacks in the barracks. the army bases that they attacked, you will cry for this country. Most times they don't come to give us the accurate figures. The Nigerian military man that spoke recently, he said there were just 4. He gave us 4 that were killed, 4 military men that were killed. They don't like to tell us the real figures because they feel it will undermine what they are doing, or people will underestimate the ability of, they don't really like to say it the way it is. But there is this program I watched, and what I saw there is what I can't even explain because I was not there, and I don't like to put forward things I cannot back. So, but what I'm trying to say is that Nigeria is at war, and instead of them to face that war, they are facing nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is just saying that the Southeast is being marginalized. Give me Biafra. That's his own request. If the federal government does not like this secession, agitation, why not try to fill the vacuum that has been created, that the Southeast is not being carried along? And we all know it is true. Okay, take for instance the jam, whatever that has been, causing a whole lot of uproar, jam results. We were told that 5 states from the Southeast were massively affected. The entire Southeast, just the Southeast alone, and then Lagos. These 2 places. And now people have started saying that they said, which we've not gotten any information I have with backing, I'll say the way it is, that it is now being, said that the areas in Lagos that are affected are Igbo-dominated areas. So people are still asking questions. Why did those glitches that happened only in Igbo states? And now they are saying even in Lagos, it is Igbo-dominated areas. Anyway, guys, what I'm just trying to say is that there is that marginalization, which whether you are an Igbo man or you are not an Igbo man, you can see it for yourself. Take, for instance, now, under this Tinubu's government, how many Igbo people are there? What are their positions? Just let's be sincere. Let's speak as patriotic Nigerians. Just look at Tinubu's government. How many Igbos are there? And then tell me their positions. Tell me. Under Buhari, how many Igbos were there? Tell me the positions they held. The Igbos are being cut off. And recently, Buhari was in Anambra State. Soludo, that is just looking for political gain, could not even tell Tinubu that look at the challenges of Ndibo. See why people feel they are being marginalized. See why the agitation is there. Can we address some of these concerns? This is what a real leader does. If it was to be in the north, do you know that? Go and Google. The Sultan of Sokoto kicked against clamping down on Boko Haram. Just type it now on your phone. You will see it on BBC. The Sultan. Buhari said attacks on Boko Haram is attack on the north. Some people call them freedom fighters. Shetima's own, you will not see, you've not seen it, even when they were eating with some of these people that are now threatening the peace of this country. So when these people began, the North did not even see anything wrong with what they were doing. Even till today, with all the attacks of the headers and, buying people, how many Northerners come out boldly or media houses to say this is wrong or to caution these bandits? They hardly. So when you look at it, the North knows how to defend their own. And that is why they keep giving them amnesty, keep granting them pardon. Recently, under this Tinubu's government, the governor of Kaduna State granted bandits amnesty and said that he's working with the federal government to give them rehabilitation. Has that stopped banditry in Kaduna State? Has it made them to stop there? They will come out, collect money from the government and go back to continue what they are doing. It's not helping. It's not working. But the North knows how to defend their own no matter what they are doing. But when you come to the Southeast, you see some of the Southeast leaders even asking that Nnamdi Kanu be not released. You see, they are the ones in support of him being held because they feel if he comes out, people listen to him more than them. People listen to Kanu more than the governors and the rest of them, and they feel he's going to jeopardize their governance and all that. But what Kanu is asking for is the marginalization to end. He said it in one of the interviews. It's not as if this marginalized, it's not as if the secession must happen, but come and do the changes that the people are asking for. Fill the gap. If you go to the southeast, you hardly see the presence of the federal government. When Buhari was there, how many projects did he build in Imo State or in Anambra State or in Abia State? How many things did he build? And under Tinubu now, what are you expecting in the southeast? These are some of the things that make people to feel, oh, we are not part of it. You come to their cabinet, the Igbos are not there. You come to other infrastructure and other things, the Igbos are not there. Somebody tweeted, and I added that tweet. Let me see if I can see it and share it with you guys. And that tweet makes a whole lot of sense, where the person was saying that if you come to Igbo land, there is there is nothing, if not only military checkpoints. There is no like airport, international airports, even that of Enugu. At the time we heard that the federal government wants to sell it or whatever. I don't know. I think there was something like that they are giving it up for some, is it 80 years or what? I don't know. But a whole lot is happening, which we are not supposed to just keep quiet without you crying out. If you don't cry out, they will think all is well while all is not well. Because see, what Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for is just that the Igbos are being marginalized. And he's saying, carry the Igbos along. Okay, this person tweeted and said, student loan excluded Southeast, JAM failed Southeast, Seaport none in Southeast, NNPC, Federal Inland Revenue Service, and then custom none in this from Southeast, meaning that in NNPC, you don't see an Igbo man. A Federal Inland Revenue Service, you don't see Igbo man. Custom, you don't see Igbo man. International Airport, none in the Southeast. And railway, none in the Southeast. Military checkpoints everywhere in the Southeast. When you cry, they call you IPOB. This is what somebody, and when you look at this tweet, it makes a whole lot of sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. Now, JAM targeted only Southeasterners. The entire 5 states, not 1 state, not 2, not 3, the entire 5 states in the Southeast are massively affected in this JAM. Anyway, the JAM registrar, he has come out to apologize, which people have applauded him for that, for coming out to apologize. But guess what? Many people are still saying it is not enough. He should resign. Now, this person who tweeted that tweet added this image. This is what the military usually do in the Southeast. When people get to their checkpoints, you'll be asked to come down, use your leg to walk and pass their checkpoints with your hand. Tell me, can this happen in the North? Let's be sincere. Can this thing now happen in the North or even in Yoruba land? Can what you are seeing now happen in the North or in the Southwest? It's only in Igbo land. It's only in Anibo that you see something like this, the military. These are some of the things that provoke people. And when they say, give us Biafra, you'll be seen as a terrorist, while the real terrorists are inflicting real injury on Nigeria as a country. So I think these are some of the vacuum that Tinubu himself has to look into to feel, okay, Tinubu went to Anambra, Soludo did not present any of the challenges of Ndibo to him. And he did not also promise Ndibo, okay, I know your challenges. I know you have been complaining of marginalization. Okay, see what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. This is how to woo people. This is how to entice people. Tinubu didn't tell them what to expect. Soludo didn't also present any of the demands that Ndibo are making. And like the Bible says, he that asketh, receiveth. If you don't ask, you don't receive. So that is why the challenges are still there. Our politicians don't know how to be leaders. They don't know how to be leaders. Now, this is one of the videos that happened about kidnapping in Enugu State, where this guy was lamenting people were kidnapped in Enugu State. Enugu governor has been doing a lot, like people will commend him for some of the infrastructural, developments happening in the state. But when it comes to security, I think he's ranking 0, because we saw when these women were protesting recently, until today, he didn't come out to at least address those women. I don't know why empathy sometimes is far from our leaders. headers. Women, if you look at these women, you know that they just depend on farming for their daily meal. And then they were being threatened by all these headers. They came out, they protested for days. No one day did the governor come out to at least address them or send one of his appointees to at least come and attend to these women, address them, tell them I've heard their concern and I'm looking into it. No, it didn't happen. Now, these ones too were kidnapped. You see this number of people, they were kidnapped in the same Enugu, and they paid ransom. So this guy is complaining that after paying ransom, the police came out to make photo with them, and we're posting the photo online as if the police was the one that, that helped in securing their release. Let me just play the video for you to hear.
All right, you see, it is time to question some certain deceits that we are noticing among some of these council chairmen. Now, I want to ask, and I want you to also assist me, because the information available to me clearly shows that these people, all of them, paid ransom to regain their freedom. These are people who were abducted, taken inside the bush, somewhere around it, somewhere at Iyon in Enugu Ezike. And they are all out, and all of them paid ransom to be released. Now the council chairman and the DPO of Iboze North stayed these people, took pictures, and you've been circulating these pictures as if you are the one that worked for their release. I mean, what are we turning this city, this particular state into? People will be abducted, taken inside the bush, ransom will be demanded, ransom will be paid by the family. I was even thinking that when these people were summoned, they were summoned to be reimbursed of the money they paid to regain their freedom. But just to take pictures and be circulating the picture, taking glory as if the chairman actually led the operation and these people were released. We need to begin to interrogate some of these things. We can't continue to conceive or take everything they say. This is a high level of deceit, and we can't continue to take it. The council chairman, if you want to work, you work. If you don't want to work, stop deceiving the general public. Your territory is not secure.
So that is it. This happened in Enugu State, and it's really so sad, that these people were kidnapped and they had to pay ransom for their own release, and now they want to take the glory at all costs for themselves. Anyway, that is what Nigeria is like today. And you know that this government, they don't even know how to listen to the cry of the people. Now, I told you guys about this is a grandmother reportedly brings 6 live chickens to school as school fees after her granddaughter was sent home. And I'm just wondering if it's the teacher, or if it's a teacher or the principal or whoever was the one checking, possibly checking if the chicken are very heavy or not. Honestly, the situation of things in Nigeria. Now, do you know, people were saying, why did the girl that died because of jam, why would she buy? So you can imagine that girl was in a similar situation like this girl now. And she managed to raise money for her jam. And she knew that she studied. Some people that got like 8 A's, they will be scoring 100 in jam from the Southeast. Some of them got 7 A's, they will be scoring 100 and something. It's not as if it's jam now, it's difficult to do malpractice. So these people know what they read, what they studied, and then they came for that jam exam and got it the way they got it. If not that parents were raising alarm, parents came out, students came out, people were making videos, it was circulating all over the places, and then pressure was mounted on jam. I think some of the professors from the Southeast started mounting that pressure. Jam now invited people for a kind of investigation. That was how they now discovered that the people who were even affected were those from the Southeast. So what I'm just trying to say is that the situation in Nigeria, there are things, okay, now they're even saying that those students should go and rewrite that jam. People are asking, who is going to pay the transportation? Who is going to, it's not easy to even prepare for this jam. And the day you write this jam, you just say, oh, thank God, it's done and dusted. but now they are being asked to return back to this classroom to go write this JAM again. So it's not even easy. Some of them took risk to go to their centers. With all the insecurity in Nigeria today, you know what that means. And many people are still demanding, like this one now is saying that a lecturer in the Department of Political Science, nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka, Christian Okeke, has urged the registrar of JAM Admission and Matriculation Board, JAM, Professor Ishak, to go beyond weeping over his incompetence and tender his immediate resignation. That's what many people are saying, that the man did well to have at least cried. He cried, which many people have applauded. But guess what? They are saying that cry is not enough. He needs to go because the extent of the injury inflicted on these children is
the
small.
registrar for JAM, Professor Ishak Oloyede, sir. You see, I dey try to focus on this 30 days countdown on electoral reform so that we not go lose focus, Nigerians. But this issue of JAM, they give us very important lessons where we're supposed to learn as a people. Not be only say we go just they talk, complain about the thing where happen. So we must not be bad students of history. We must learn the necessary lessons. And that is why we must talk about them. So the JAM registrar, Professor Ishak Oloyede, I greet you, sir, and we thank you as you come out, can't take responsibility for the error where you talk say happen for JAM exam this year. You said there was a glitch. Now he make the result where come out for 5 states in the Southeast and Lagos states. There was error. And then you shed tears. We thank you, sir. Now that place, night you take better pass INEC chairman. Because both of you are similar. You they related in some things. The similarity you get, we say both of you get glitches. The INEC chairman have glitch in 2023 election. You have glitch in this year JAM exam. But the difference, we say you come out, you shed tears, and then you take responsibility. INEC chairman no shed tears. He no apologize. In fact, even the grandstand, and he's still parading himself as an unbiased electoral umpire, which is a disgrace. But our dear Professor Ishak Oloyede, sir, if you have any integrity in you, and you know that under normal systems, you should voluntarily resign and be out of that office. The same way the INEC chairman should have tendered an unreserved apology, resign from office and be under investigation for the conduct of 2023 election. Yes, sir. Now the right way to handle matters be that. Because, Professor, sir, Nigerians, the lesson where we must learn from this thing be say, we must ask the questions. If not be say the children and the parents of the children where they affected for this JAM issue, all of them come out, they protest, they reject the result, talk say no be their result. JAM in the beginning been they reject them, but later on when they mount serious pressure, JAM had to do investigation. If not for that protest, shall we for carry out any investigation? Shall we for agree and know say there was a glitch where caused the error for there? Waiting be the guarantee where we get to know say all other JAM results where we done the right, say the result where JAM they give people, now their actual results. What is the guarantee? Nigeria. That is the same thing where we say we go fit learn from 2023. The same INEC chairman come out, come talk, say there was a glitch. Nobody talk anything. All of us accepted the result of criminality and rigging, and everybody move forward. And that is why all of them, they try to consolidate on the same criminality they did in 2023 for 2027. Nigerians, now the lesson be that. If nobody comes out to speak up and stand your ground, there will be no change.
Yes.
Now the same JAM now go set exam. He go put time for exam 6 a.m. And the town where they're supposed to go right now from far place from where the children did. Anyhowness in the complete system, nobody is held accountable. Nobody can be questioned. That is how Nigeria runs on recklessness and irresponsibility. And the current chairman said, register self, if they try. The former one, you remember Professor Dibu Ojerinde? You remember? For JAM to come out with this unfortunate and regrettable and distasteful statement, say that man proposes and God disposes. That is the statement from a government agency where the cause of your irresponsibility has led to the death of a young girl. And you they put out, say that man proposes, God disposes. Everybody that is part of this process, you should be thoroughly ashamed of yourself. All of them are supposed to they shed tears for JAM because another family, they mourn their own pikin as a result of this kind of failure. So yes, the professor is supposed to they shed tears. But my dear Nigerians, if we not pick up the lessons and think of how to fix the electoral process, to be able to hold these leaders accountable, there will be nothing that will change. In normal situations, every government institution must have a public watchdog, an independent inspector general, to be able to audit those institutions. There must be the police of a police, and that will come by institutional reform. So if you claim to be activists, advocates, or you like Nigeria, and you are not talking about governance and how elections go better, you are being mischievous. You know what you are doing. Unless the only thing where you dare be say you are not interested in solving the real issue because it will put you out of business. Because for many people, the more there is anarchy, the more you have issues to discuss. But if we want to focus on the root cause of the problem, it has to begin with fixing INEC and electoral reform. There can be no democracy without free and fair election. This must be our focus before 2027. If not, there are many more years of jam glitches, INEC glitches, insecurity, inflation, hunger. It will only get worse. Fix INEC. My name is Peter for Nigeria.
Fix INEC. Honestly, this guy nailed it. Because, see, when INEC came out to tell us that they had glitches, nobody asked question. You can imagine Jam now came out again and said they had glitches. And people opened their mouth wide and began to lament. Began to cry. Parents went to Jam office. Even some of them were shouting, "Don't injure us!" So don't. They showed Jam pepper. So this man now took his time to carry out that investigation. If you know Mr. Osita Chidioka, he was there. He was part of it. They now had to check to know where the problem started, only to discover that 5 Southeast and the entire Southeast is even the headquarter of the problem. Because Lagos is like a section of Southwest, but this one, Southeast, is the entirety of Southeast. Whether you are in Imo State, Anambra, Abia, Enugu, or Ebonyi, you will be affected. So that's why people have been lamenting. I mean, people have been reacting to all that. And it's good that the man came out to apologize, but you have heard, for integrity, for people to still have some respect for Jam, I think this man really needs to resign. And you must have heard that he studied Islamic studies. That's what he read. You know, somebody was even saying that, how come somebody who studied Islamic studies is the one heading Jam in Nigeria? So somehow, I don't really think if he's a good match, although he's a professor, meaning he must have expanded his knowledge beyond, Islamic studies. But I don't know if he really has that capacity to manage this office very well, So you see this headline, like people were reacting that the president Tinubu to travel to Abuja from Abuja to Rome, Italy on Saturday, that the new Pope has invited him. I hope that he's going to use this opportunity to talk to him about the buying of Christians in northern Nigeria. Being a Christian in northern Nigeria has become like a nightmare, is something else. So I just hope that he will use that opportunity to fix that. This person say, we dare Jam registrar Ishak and education minister allows her to release the full list of affected local government areas in Lagos. From our sources, Amuwo, Odofin, Ojo, Ajerumi, heavily Igbo populated areas were among the worst hit. This wasn't a glitch. It was 100% deliberate sabotage. So you see, people were saying that the areas in Lagos that are affected, in this Jam, blah, 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 is areas where that's mostly populated. The population are mostly Igbos. These are the areas affected in Lagos. But let's just wait and see what they will, because they said they are going to deepen their investigation. Possibly in days to come, we are going to learn more about what is going to happen. Now this is Tinubu orders employment of thousands of youths to flush out terrorists, bandits inside Nigeria's 1,129 forests. Tinubu orders employment of thousands of youths to flush out terrorists and bandits inside Nigeria's 1,129 forests. So when I saw this headline, I was like, these youths, are they going to be trained? We are talking of our military men who are not well equipped, not well trained, and Boko Haram has been using them for breakfast. Is that how Tinubu also wants to push Nigerian youths into the hand of? Have you not heard that Boko Haram is using drones? All these drones that are difficult to dictate. That's what the military man said, that just like the drone used in Ukraine and in Russia, that they are so difficult to dictate. These are the kind of drone Boko Haram is using. And Tinubu wants Nigerian youths to be the ones to go and flush out terrorists out of the forest. Nigerians are beg. Which kind of leaders do we even have a God? You just send your youths that don't have any skill, that have not handled gun before, to go and mount your forests and your bushes. Only Zambiza alone, the Nigerian military has not been able to clear Boko Haram there for how many years now? We have been fighting Boko Haram. It's not up to 15 years now. Still, they are now overpowering us. Instead of we over weakening them, they are now the ones showing power. Can you imagine? And Tinubu wants to use. Anyway, let me read out some of. If you see some of the reactions coming from Nigerians here, you will laugh and your rib will want to break. Some of them are telling him to send Sheyi Tinubu. Some of them say, send your son. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me read some of these. This first person says, so Tinubu's master plan is to send unemployed youths into 1,129 forests to fight terrorists armed with what? Vibes and slippers. This isn't a security strategy. It's a budget-friendly suicide mission. Try investing in intelligence, not cannon fodder. Wait, who mentioned Sheyi? Who mentioned Sheyi there? Who is calling Sheyi there? Because Nigerians were posting Sheyi. Okay, like this person said, Sheyi should be the first to be employed. He should lead the example. When I went through some of these reactions, I was just like, God, Nigerians will not finish somebody. Another man, this one says, another sacrificial lambs to terrorists, cultists. Time to join real fight, not that foolishness in university. He's not telling cultists. Oh my God. Nigerians will not finish somebody, honestly. You know, when the Nigerian military came out begging Nigerians to join military, they said they are not going. It's the shortest exit to go join your ancestors. And now Tinubu is saying that Nigerian youth should go and flush out terrorists and bandits. Oh my God. It's funny, but it's not really funny. This person says Agbado Army will be lucky if they get Ewa. Those employed in the services, army, police have not been properly and regularly remunerated, but government wants to increase insecurity force. Vote buying gesture that won't flush out what army found. Okay, this thing is not that flowing, but I think it's just like this, a suicide mission. Honestly, I don't know what Tinubu is thinking, that employ Nigerian youths to go flush out terrorists that the Nigerian army could not flush. Nigerian youths are the ones to go and flush, and this one's a good call. One of the first few things he appears to get right. Okay, one of the first things that Tinubu has appeared to get right: scream them, arm them, train them. You know, during Buhari's campaign, he would say, what they will eat, gari and whatever. Just like, honestly, this is really, really so sad that this our when you employ these old men that are so analog in today's world where AI is helping so many countries to fight insecurity, to fight their enemies. There are drones that just AI from your bedroom, you operate it. These things will go out and execute and come back safely. They will go and execute with correct precision. They will execute and come back. Our leaders are just looking for youths to push into the forest. Why not equip the military properly? Why not buy more sophisticated weapons, use that money to equip them, give them martial order? Because we have heard that some of these people, they don't want the insecurity to stop. People are benefiting because it's $1 billion industry. So if people are benefiting, it's Nigerian youths now you want to go and sacrifice, because the thing will not end. If it did, people are the ones sabotaging fight against insecurity, then it's not going to end. Why do you want to waste the lives of your youths? So guys, I'm going to end this live session here. Thank you very much for joining. You have seen the funny Nigeria that we are living in. Your president said Nigerian youth should be employed to go flush out bandits and Boko Haram. It's really, really so funny. It's really funny. Let's just laugh at it, because it makes no sense that your military men, your naval, air force, all the forces you have in the country have been fighting against Boko Haram for how many years now? Still, they are now the one begging Boko Haram, please come and surrender. Please, we are ready to forgive you. Come on, can you imagine begging your enemies? It is no longer a fight anymore. It's like we have surrendered. Now begging them, please come and surrender. Come and surrender. And then you are now thinking the other way around to say, Nigerian, this is the kind of employment they will give to you. You went to school, you studied law, you studied medicine, and now you will be pushed into the forest to go fight terrorists. Can you imagine that? That's the Nigeria we have. And some youths will still be dancing around APC. They don't have no strategy on ground, no plan. Look at all the appointments. It's just to pay people back for electoral gain, people that helped you during campaign. You are paying them. There is no capacity. That's why we are not getting results. You can imagine if we had put in real people that will fight insecurity. Look at the people who are handling sensitive positions. They are just they are men. Now our people. If they see somebody who is competent, who is not part of APC, would they go to take the person? The country is just going backward. Now they want to push Nigerian youths. Thank God Nigerian youths have already reacted. They say, Sheyi could be number one. if Tinubu really wants to employ Nigerian youth, Sheyi Tinubu should be number one, and then others can follow. Anyway, we are going to be seeing how all this is going to play out. Thank you very much for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can also recommend it to more people. And let's see again tomorrow. Thank you and God bless you. Bye.